A pleasant day to each and everyone. Today I will be discussing the Module 1, which is the Introduction to Accounting. The first statement here in subject overview said that no business could operate very long without knowing how much it was earning and how much it was spending. So this is very true because if you are a businessman and you don't know how much you are earning, kahit na estimate lang, or how much you are spending, hindi mo malalaman where you are standing financially. So, hindi ka magiging effective sa management na gagawin mo ng business mo if you don't know your stand financially. That's why accounting or accountants are called scorekeepers of the business. Okay, because through accounting, information regarding the earnings and expenses of a business is provided. And also, without accounting, a business couldn't function optimally. Bakit? Kasi nga, it wouldn't know where it stands financially. Hindi alam kung siya ba ay kumikita o hindi, kung nalilugi ba yung negosyo, yung operation. Ayan. Kaya hindi siya makakapag-function optimally. And also, sound understanding of this language is beneficial to everyone. Okay? Because even if you don't have business, kahit na ikaw ay isang estudyante or you're a plain housewife or you're an employee, so you don't own a business, kakailanganin mo pa rin yung yung understanding ng language na to because it can help you better manage your financial aspects. And also, personal financial planning, at saka yan, mga education expenses, car amortization, business loans, mga investments, they are all based on the information that we call accounting. So, this is yung parang eye view natin kung ano ba yung accounting and its benefits. Okay, so what are the objectives? So after this module, you should be able to define accounting, yan, understand nature, functions, and objectives of accounting, determine the scope and branches of accounting, recognize the users of accounting information, di ba? Kagaya nga nung na-mention kanina, di ba? You should know where you stand. So, yung information na binibigay ng accounting, may mga gumagamit nun. At pag-aaralan natin kung sino-sino ba yung mga users na yon. And also, you should be able to identify the forms of business organization. Yan. And also define or describe the basic financial statements of business organization. You should also determine the elements of financial statements. And the last one is to explain the basic accounting concepts and principles. So, dito naka-enumerate kung ano-ano lahat yung topics na pag-aaralan natin in this module. So, we will now proceed with the definitions of accounting. So, para makilala natin siya, we should know ano bang ibig sabihin niya. So, what are the definitions of accounting? The first one, according to ASC, which is the Accounting Standards Council, accounting is what? Accounting is a service activity. Okay, it is called service activity because it provides services. So, ano yung service na yon? Provide what? Quantitative information. It provides informations expressed in numbers because the information is quantified. Okay. And it is what? Primarily financial in nature. Ayan. So, ang pinag-uusapan natin dito is the value or the monetary value of the information regarding what? Economic entities. When we say economic entities, these are the organization, whether it is for-profit or not for-profit organization. Pwede rin itong government entity. Okay? So, yun, lahat ng yon. And it is intended to be useful in, ayan, making economic decision. So, kaya, nagpo-provide ng information ng accounting para matulungan yung mga users to make economic decision and make reasoned choices among alternative courses of action. The next definition, it is also defined as the art of, ayan, recording, classifying, and summarizing. Okay, so there are three phases that are being mentioned here. So, sabi diyan, significant manner in terms of, ayan, money. Diba? Hindi siya lumalayo. Pareho sila ng definition din sa nasa taas. Sabi diyan, it should be financial in nature. So, if financial in nature, it is in terms of money. And also, yan, transactions and events which are in part or at least, ayan, financial character. And interpreting the results thereof. When we say interpreting, dito na papasok yung tinatawag natin na making economic decision. So, sabi nga, the first definition, anong sinasabi sa first definition? It states the what? The purpose of accounting. So, ano ba ang purpose ng accounting? That is to provide quantitative information about the business for the basis of economic decisions and resolutions. So, second definition naman, okay, second definition, it states the phases formed in accounting process, yung na-mention ko nga kanina, which is the first one is recording or bookkeeping. When we say recording or bookkeeping, it is the process of systematically recording or maintaining the records of business transactions on a day-to-day basis. And it should also be, kaya nga tinawag natin na systematically, it should also be in what? It should also be chronologically arranged. Okay? Based on what? Based on date. Okay? The next phase is classifying. So when we say classifying, it is the sorting or grouping of similar and interrelated transactions. For example, you have to classify each transaction that belongs to cash, okay, belongs to receivables. And then when we say cash and receivables, it belongs to what element? They belong to the element of assets. Ayan. So, medyo siguro ngayon hindi pa kayo masyadong makarelate. Pero later on, maiintindihan nyo na to. Okay, the next one is summarizing. So, when we say summarizing, dito na ginagawa ang reports or yung tinatawag natin na financial statements. Ano-ano ba yung mga financial statements na yon? So, they are the statement of financial position, or the balance sheet, statement of profit or loss, or the income statement, statement of cash flows, and the statement of changes in owner's equity. So, itong lahat ng ito ay matututunan ninyong gawin at hopefully you will learn how to prepare all of these financial statements at the end of hindi. Not at the end of the semester, but maybe at the middle of the semester. Okay, so these are the other definitions of accounting. Here, it is called as an information system. Ayan. Why? Because it measures business activities, it processes information into reports, and then communicates the reports to decision. Kaya nga siya tinawag na information system because it provides quantitative information. Also, accounting is called the language of business. Ayan, tinatawag din siyang language of business because it serves as a communication link between the business entity and the users of financial information. For example, ang isang businessman ay gustong mangutang sa bangko. So, anong sasabihin ng bangko dun sa businessman? May pera ka bang pangbayad sa utang mo? Diba? Yun ang unang-una nilang concern dun. So, sasabihin ng businessman, yes, may pangbayad ako. Gagamitin kong pangbayad yung kikitain ko sa negosyo ko. So, maniniwala ba ang bangko dun sa taong nangungutang na basta sasabihin niya lang na ganun? Di ba hindi? Ano ang hihingi ng bangko? Hihingi siya ng financial statements doon sa nangungutang or proof na siya talaga ay may business, na siya ay kumikita. So, dito, naging language of business yung accounting kasi kahit na literal na nagkakaintindihan ang bangko at ang nangungutang dahil pareho sila ng language na sinasabi, di ba? Hindi pa rin yun enough because the bank wants a proof that the business is doing good and that the person who wants to make a loan can really pay. At accounting ang papasok doon. It serves as a communication link between those two entities. So, pag nakita na ng bangko yung financial statement na pinasa or provide ng tao na gustong umutang, at nakita niya na talagang mayroon, kinikita, okay, so that's the point wherein they really understand each other and then the bank may consider giving that person a loan. So, I'm not telling na yung financial statement is the only requirement na pag nag-provide ka, okay ka na because yung bangko marami pa siyang hinihinging requirements. But what I am giving point here is that through accounting, pwedeng magkaroon ng communication link yung dalawang entity na yon. Okay? So, next, an accountant's primary task, therefore, is to supply what? Financial information to statement users so that they could make informed judgment and better decision. Ayan. So, we are now done with the definitions of accounting. We will now proceed with the development of accounting. So, basically, this is the history of accounting. Kung paano ba nagsimula ang accounting, saan ba siya nag-originate. So, dito natin i-discuss. So, don't worry, hindi naman ito ganun kadami, hindi ito ganun hindi na natin pa masyadong lalaliman. Yan, ang pag-aaral regarding the history of accounting. So, accounting traces its roots to the Middle East region. Yan. Where as early as 8,500 BC, when we say BC, that is before Christ, yung mga tradesmen daw, they use clay objects. Kasi syempre that time, wala pa noong papel. Ayan. So, ang ginagamit pa nila ay clay objects that represent commodities. Such as what? Flocks of sheep, jars of spices, oil, balls of clothing, and other goods. Because itong time na ito, wala pa ring pera. So, ang wealth or possession ng isang tao, makikita mo sa dami ng alaga niyang hayop, yan, sa mga spices na meron siya, at sa mga damit na meron siya and other goods. Okay. So, the ancient civilization of Babylon, ayan, Babylon, Greece, and Egypt also used clay tablets. So, here we can trace accounting dito sa mga civilization na ito, which is the Babylon, Greece, and Egypt. And also, ditong mga clay tablets daw na ito, it shows what? Wage payments. Yan. So, syempre, di ba, nung gumagawa sila ng ng pyramid. For example, gumagawa sila ng pyramid, di ba? So, yung mga gumagawa nun, meron yung mga wage payments at saka yung mga alipin before, mga slaves. Ayan. And what? Materials, requisitions. Yan, cost of labor. So, which only shows that accounting has already been used even during biblical times. So, if nakakabasa kayo ng Bible, matatrace ninyo ang history ng mundo doon. Okay, so when we say biblical times, ito yung panahon na nakarecord or nakatala sa Bible. So, as early as that, makikita na natin na accounting is already or has already been used. Okay. Now, in 1494, ayan, we have here Friar Luca Pacioli. So, si Friar Luca Pacioli, siya yung kinoconsider or tinatawag natin na father of double entry bookkeeping. So, he is considered as the father, actually the father of accounting. So, bakit? Because he wrote a book that contains discussions on the double entry bookkeeping system. Okay? So, sa book na yon, it is entitled Summa de Arithmetica, Geometria Proportioni et Proportionalita, or in English, Everything About Arithmetic, Geometry, Proportions, and Proportionality. So, doon, ito namang book na ito, hindi ito nakafocus lang sa bookkeeping or accounting. So, double entry bookkeeping is just discussed as part of this book. Pero, hindi talaga siya yung origin ng idea or ng concept ng double entry bookkeeping. According to history, Friar Luca Pacioli met some tradesmen where he got the idea regarding the double entry bookkeeping. So, ang nangyari lang, siya lang yung nag-formalize ng theory or ng process or ng concept. Kasi nilagay niya sa isang libro. That's why he is considered as the father of double entry bookkeeping. So, in the mid-18th to the mid-19th century, meron tayong tinatawag na Industrial Revolution. Kasi at this time, ito yung nagawa na or na-invent na yung mga railways. Ayan. So, nagkakaroon na ng mga automobiles. So, nagkakaroon na ng mga machines. That's why, nagkaroon ng mabilis na pag-improve or mabilis na transaksyon ang mga negosyo. Okay? Goods are produced from artisan craftsman method to the assembly line method. So, dati, artisan and craftsman lang. Pag sinabi kasi nating artisan and craftsman, ito yung tinatawag natin na mano-mano. So, ibig sabihin, matagal, di ba, bago makapag-produce ng isang produkto. So, from there, nagkaroon na ng assembly line method. Wherein here, ginagamit ang both the machine at yung tao, manual or machine operated. Meron na sila dito. Also, during this period, the corporate form of business organization was created to accommodate the need for the increasing large amounts of funds which was required to finance the expansion of business. So, before kasi sole proprietorship lang or partnership lang yung form ng business, pero during this time, nagkaroon na ng corporate form. Alam naman natin na pag corporate form of business, mas malaki yung na-generate niya na fund kasi mas malaki yung investments dito. Okay. So, we are done with the history of accounting. Now, we are going to discuss the role of accounting for business. So, let's look muna at the definition of business. Okay, ano ba ang business? So, sabi dito, business is an organization in which basic resources are assembled or processed to provide goods or services to customers or clients. Okay? So, yun na, resources are assembled or processed. So, when we say resources, kasama dito ang asset at saka yung supplies, okay, the machines. And yung also kasama rin dito ang tao because sila yung gumagawa and nagpa-process or nagpo-provide ng goods and services sa mga customers and clients. So, what are the roles of accounting in business? The first one is to provide necessary information. Yan, information. Sabi nga natin, di ba, it is a service activity that provides information. It is also an information system. Yan. Essential to the formulation and execution of business and non-business policies. Kaya nga ang mga accountants, kasama lagi iyan sa policy-making body. So, pag nag-formulate ng policy ang isang negosyo, laging involve ang accountants. Merong input ang accountants. Next, business establishments and government acknowledge accounting as an essential tool of management. Yan. So, lagyan natin essential tool. Ayan. So, ginagamit siya for management kasi nga, mahalaga yung information na pinoprovide ng accounting. For example, bigyan ko kayo ng isang simpleng example. So, ang accounting ipoprovide niya yung statement of profit and loss. So, dun sa statement of profit and loss, sinasummarize dun magkano lahat yung revenue, magkano lahat yung expense. So, pag nalaman mo yung total revenue tsaka total expense, malalaman mo rin kung kumita ka ba o nalugi ka. So, yun na lang simpleng example na yun, di ba? Nagamit na siya ng management as a tool. Kasi nga, for example, nalulugi. So, anong pwedeng gawin nila? So, may kita nila doon na ang liit pala kasi ng revenue natin. So, dagdagan natin yung revenue. So, that's the economic decision na gagawin nila. So, ano mga strategy ang pwede nilang gawin para madagdagan yung revenue nila? Pwede rin naman, kaya sila nalulugi, masyadong malaki ang kanilang mga expenses. So, ano ang pwede nilang gawin? Pwede nilang, bawasan yung expenses nila. So, yun, economic decision din yun. Okay? So, next are the forms of business organizations. So, siguro naman you are familiar na with this, but we are going to discuss pa rin. The first one is the single or sole proprietorship. When we say single or sole proprietorship, ito yung pinakamadaling buuhin. Kasi nga, ang business ay pag-aari lamang ng iisang individual, which is called the proprietor. So, dito hindi ito komplikado i-operate kasi nga yung decision madaling gawin dahil iisa lang naman ang may-ari. So, when we say partnership, it is an association of two or more persons who bind themselves. Ayan. So, when we say two or more, pag dalawa, kasi yung iba bakang iniisip pag partnership, dalawa lang. No. Dalawa o higit pa sa dalawa. Pwedeng mag-form ng partnership. So, ano daw ang kanilang kino-contribute? They contribute money. Alam natin naman ang money, di ba? Pera. Property. Ano ba ang property? Pwede yung land, pwedeng building, equipment, or automobile. But what is this? This third one, industry. Ano ba ang industry? So, bigyan ko lang kayo ng explanation regarding the industry. Sa partnership kasi, pwede kang maging partner even if wala kang money or property. Industry lang ang meron ka. When we say industry, these are specialized skills. Okay? Meron kang skills, meron kang talent. So, pwede mong i-contribute yun. Anong example nito? For example, yung sa mga restaurant, di ba? Magaling kang magluto, isa kang chef, but then you don't have the financial capability to put up a restaurant. Yung mga ganyan, yung mga chef na yan, pag ganyan wala silang capability, ang ginagawa nila, kumukuha lang sila ng investor. Someone who has the financial capability to put up a restaurant. And then, pwede rin sila maging partner ng restaurant na yun kasi ang i-contribute naman nila ay yung kanilang industry which is their skills. Yung pagiging magaling nilang magluto. Ayan. So, yan yung example ng nag-contribute ng industry. Okay? To a common fund with the intention of dividing the profits among themselves. So, ilalagay nila lahat ang money, property, and industry, and syempre, the purpose or the intention for that is to divide the profits among themselves. Okay, the last one is corporation. So, ano ba ang corporation? So, sabi, it is an artificial being. When we say artificial being, it is not a human being, but it is considered as a being. Anong ibig sabihin? Ibig sabihin, it can sue and be sued. Pwede siyang magdemanda, pwede rin siyang idemanda. Pwede siyang mag-enter into a contract. Pwede siyang bumili, pwede siyang mag-acquire. Because it is considered as an artificial being, yung corporation. Paano siya na-create? It is created by operation of law. Ayan, na-create siya because of law. Having what? The rights of succession. When we say rights of succession, as a corporation, unlike partnership, sa partnership kasi, pag namatay ang isa sa partner or naging incapacitated yung isang partner, automatically, dissolve na yung partnership. But here, in a corporation, napansin niyo may mga korporasyon na ilang daang taon na, di ba? Pag nagse-celebrate sila ng kanilang anniversary, makikita mo ilang daang taon na silang nag-i-exist. Pero does it mean na yung mga may-ari nun buhay pa? So, kadamihan dun patay na, and even the incorporators. Pero bakit nag-i-exist pa rin yung corporation? Because they have the rights of succession. Ibig sabihin, yung mga shareholders, pwede nilang ipasa yung shares nila sa ibang tao. Okay? So, that's why yung corporation nag-i-exist pa rin. Maliban na lang kung mag-terminate na yung kanyang business operation. Okay? And also, it has the powers and attributes. Yan. Attributes expressly authorized by law or incident to its existence. So, ito kasing corporation, ini-apply ito sa SEC or the Securities and Exchange Commission. Ngayon, pag nag-apply ka, you should state ano ba ang operation ng corporation. At doon ka lang mag-i-stick. Hindi ka pwedeng mag-operate beyond what is being stated in your SEC registration. For example, if you are manufacturing, dapat manufacturing ka. Ayan. And it is the most complex form of business organization. Bakit? Kasi nga, marami siyang legal requirement na dapat mo munang ma-comply bago ka makapag-commence ng iyong business operation. So, hindi ka pwedeng mag-commence as a corporation hanggat wala kang certificate of incorporation na nanggagaling sa Securities and Exchange Commission. Ayan. So, mahigpit siya. Bakit siya mahigpit? Kasi nga, pag sinabi natin corporation, madami ng funds ang pinag-uusapan natin dito. Hindi lang maliliit na funds, kundi malalaking funds na. Kaya mahigpit ang gobyerno. Okay. Our next topic is the types of business. So, there are several types of business. So, a business entity may engage in any of the following types of business. We have first one is the service business. So, ito madali lang tong i-operate kasi ang produkto mo dito yung serbisyo mo. Render service to customers or clients for a fee. So, magre-render ka ng service, babayaran ka. Ano yung mga example nito? Ayan, public transport companies, beauty parlors, yan, security agency, repair shops. So, medical and health clinics, law offices, accounting firms, advertising firms. So, ito wala silang mga tangible goods. Okay? Kasi nga, ang kanilang produkto ay service. Next type is the merchandising business or trading. So when we say merchandising business or trading, it buys goods or commodities and then sell them at a profit. So bibili ng produkto yung entity and then ibebenta nila ito sa mas mataas na halaga. Anong example nito? Yan, grocery stores, supermarkets, yan, drugstores. Okay. So, dito meron tayo tinatawag na tangible product. Yun nga lang, binili na, finished goods na yung product. Pero, pag sinabi nating manufacturing business, ito naman yung gumagawa ng finished goods from raw materials or unassembled product. So, ang binibili nila ay materials and then kino-convert nila ito into finished product. Example nito, shoe factories, yan, food processing plants, at saka car assembler. Okay. We will now proceed with the specialized accounting fields. So, meron tayong tinatawag na certified public accountants. They are also called CPAs. Those who have met the required education, experience, and have passed the CPA licensure examination. So, pwede kang maging CPA kung napasa mo to. That's why sa universities and colleges, ang nagtuturo lang ng accounting subjects ay mga CPA. Ayan, it is required by CHED. So, hindi pwedeng magturo ang hindi licensed na accountant. So, the first specialized field is what we call public accounting. So, ano ba ang public accounting? So, these are the accountants and their staff that render services for a fee. Anong example nitong public accounting? Yung una ay auditing. When we say auditing, ine-examine ng mga independent accountants or auditors ang financial statement and then mag-e-express sila ng opinion regarding the fairness of that financial statements. Parang sasabihin nila na itong financial statements na ito ay free from material errors. So, hindi sinasabi na free from errors 100% because we cannot say that. It is only an expression of opinion saying that the financial statement is free from material error. When we say material error, these are errors that can affect the decisions of the user of that information. Okay? Next ay tax services. Ayan. So, meron ding mga CPAs na ang kanilang specialization ay sa tax accounting at pagpe-prepare ng ITR o yung tinatawag natin na income tax returns. And also, they are giving advices to their clients on tax matters. Ayan. So, pag ganito yung service na pinoprovide ng accountant, involved siya sa public accounting. And then, the next one is the management advisory services. So, ito naman, ito yung mga accountants na nagpo-provide ng services on matters relating to design and maintenance of a company's accounting system. Yan, budgeting, cost accounting, production, organizational planning, and business matters. So, kasi 'di ba may mga negosyante na hindi lang naman tax services ang kailangan nila, kundi kailangan din nila yung management advisory service. Pag sinabi nating management advisory service, ito yung mga services na pwedeng makatulong sa management. Ibig sabihin, mayroong isang, kunwari, example nito, mayroong isang kumpanya na nalulugi na. So, kukuha siya ng accountants para i-assess kung saan ba yung pagkakamali nila when it comes to management. And then they will use the financial information provided by that accountant. Okay, tapos yung accountant magbibigay ng mga advice as to yan, accounting system, siya din yung pwedeng magbigay sa pa-budgeting, sa production, ayan. So, yun yung management advisory services. The second specialized accounting field is the private accounting. So when we say private accounting, these are accountants that are employed by business firms or a not-for-profit organization. Ang mga examples nito ay ito, accounting clerk, bookkeeper, management accountants, internal auditor, ayan yung mga VP for Finance, and Budget Director. And also ito pa, Controller or Comptroller, which is the Chief Accountant in a business. And then the third one is the government accounting. So when we say government accounting, these are accountants who are employed in governmental units. Ang example nitong mga governmental units na ito ay kunwari yung DENR, yung NBI, yung BIR, yung SEC. So lahat ng government units, pag yung accountants ay nandun, government accounting yon. Okay, PUP, yan, government unit din ito. And then the fourth one is academe or accounting education. So ito naman yung mga accountants that are employed as instructors, professors, or reviewers or researchers. So kapag ka ang accountant ay maalin dito yung trabaho niya, he or she is considered as engage in accounting education. And dito, pag accountant, pwede siyang engage into not only one specialized accounting field. Pwedeng dalawa, pwedeng tatlo, yung iba nga lahat pa, okay? Anong ibig sabihin nun? Hindi naman pwede siguro ngang lahat. Kasi nga, pagka nasa government accounting ka, mahirap naman ding nasa private accounting ka rin. So, anong ibig sabihin yan? For example, ako nasa academe or accounting education. Pero at the same time, I am also in public accounting kasi nga I am giving management accounting services and I am also preparing financial statements for my clients. So, dalawa siya. Okay. Yan. Okay, now we are going to study the generally accepted accounting principles. So, papasok na tayo dun sa principles ng accounting. So, gaya nga ng sinabi natin kanina, accounting is very essential to business and also to the decision makers, to its users. The information it provides will be the basis for the decisions that its users may do. Okay, may make. Kaya nga, napakahalaga na itong mga information na ito ay tama. Okay, it should be reliable and it should be accurate. And in order to do so, dapat bawat accountants or nagpe-prepare ng financial statements should follow the generally accepted accounting principles. So, meron tayong sinusunod na mga principles dito. So, GAAP defines what is accepted accounting practice and they are like laws that must be followed in financial reporting. So, when we say principle, ito yung mga standards, ito yung mga practices na dapat sundin ng isang nagpe-prepare ng financial statement. Also, GAAP encompasses the conventions, rules, procedures, practice, and standards followed in the accumulation, preparation, and presentation of accounting data in the financial statement. So, napakahalaga nito kasi hindi pwede na kanya-kanya kaming mga accountants, di ba, kung paano namin gagawin yung financial statement. Meron dapat sinusunod na procedures, may sinusunod na convention, at may sinusunod na standard para uniform and merong quality, ma-maintain yung credibility ng information na ibibigay ng mga reports ng mga accountants. So, we have here the FRSC, which is the Financial Reporting Standards. Ito yung accounting standard setting body na create naman ng PRC. When we say PRC, this is the Professional Regulation Commission upon the recommendation of the BOA or the Board of Accountancy. So, itong tatlong minention dito, ito yung mga governing body or standard setting body na mahalaga sa profession ng accountants. Kasi sila yung nagre-regulate, sila yung nagmo-monitor, sila yung gumagawa ng mga standards na dapat sundin. Ayan. The next one is the FRSC, yung tinatawag nating Financial Reporting Standards. So, ang purpose nito is to develop a single set of high quality, ito take note sabi dito high quality, understandable, and enforceable accounting standards that require high quality pa rin ulit, transparent, comparable information in the financial statements. So, yan ang purpose ng FRSC. Magkaroon ng accounting standards that will have a high quality and will be enforceable to each and every one. So, some generally accepted accounting principles are as follows. The first one, so ito, intindihin nyo na ito kasi these are the principles na i-apply natin when we analyze transactions. Okay, so ito yung susundin natin. The first one is the business entity concept. Ano bang ibig sabihin ng business entity concept? So, ang ibig sabihin nito, ang business entity is treated as a separate and distinct person or individual from its owners and from other business units. So, ito yung example nito. So, the transaction of one business are kept separate from those of other businesses and owner owns, they are separate entities. For example, si Sally Smith daw, meron siyang dalawang businesses. Isang hairdressing salon, tsaka isang sports store. Yung salon daw naka-receive ng $700 phone bill. But the firm's bank account is empty. So, walang pangbayad yung salon dun sa phone bill nila. Pero, yun daw sports store, meron siyang $10,000. So, ibig sabihin, may pera yung sports store. So, Sally pays it from this account. Okay? Kasi yun yung may laman. So, this is acceptable or is this acceptable or Sally breached the entity principle? What is the answer? The answer is ito. The sports store bank account can't be used to pay the salon's phone bill, as their transaction must be separate. So, hindi pwede. Kasi kahit na si Sally pa yung may-ari ng parehong negosyo, dapat yung transaction nila ay magkabukod. Yung entity ng hairdressing salon ay iba sa entity ng sports store. Ganun ang trato ng entity sa accounting. For example, simpleng example na lang dyan, yung may mga sari-sari store, di ba? So, pag may sari-sari store ka, dapat pag wala kang ulam, wag ka na lang basta kukuha ng sardinas o kaya corned beef doon sa sari-sari store mo. Pwede ka namang kumuha pero bayaran mo. Kasi nga, kahit ikaw ang may-ari niyan, that business has its separate and distinct entity. Okay? Iba siya sa'yo. So, pwede kang kumuha, pero babayaran mo lang. Kung wala kang pera, ilista mo. Para pag may pera ka na, babayaran mo rin siya. Yan. So, yun ang ibig sabihin ng business entity concept. The next one is the going concern or continuity assumption. So, when we say going concern, you will treat the business as if it will continue to operate for an indefinite period. When we say indefinite, iba ito sa infinite Pag infinite, walang katapusan. Pag indefinite, may katapusan pero hindi mo lang alam kung kailan. Okay, parang buhay natin. We know that our life will end but we don't know when. So that's why we live as if we will still be alive tomorrow. Di ba? Di ka naman nabubuhay na ang anticipation mo, patay ka na bukas di ba? Ang anticipation mo ay laging buhay ka pa kinabukasan. So, ganun din sa business, ganun din sa accounting. The assumption in accounting is that it will be on a going concern. It will continue in operation long enough to carry out its existing objectives. For example, ito ang isang store na ito. Maliit lang siya, pero ina-anticipate niya na balang araw magiging ganito na siya kalaki, di ba, in the future. Okay? So, that is the assumption in accounting. The next one is the time period assumption. Yan, time period assumption. Anong ibig sabihin? Di ba kanina may na-mention tayong indefinite life of business. Sabi nga natin, hindi natin alam kung hanggang kailan, but we anticipate na magdediretso. Okay? Alam natin na may katapusan, but we don't know when it will end. That's why the business is to be divided into time periods. Okay? Or accounting periods na tinatawag. For the purpose of of the preparation of financial reports. Okay, on the performance and the position of the business. For example nito, from 1998 to 2008, ito yung start ng business, 1998, end of business, 2008. Ngayon, yung daw economic life ng business, dinidivide siya into artificial time periods, which is mostly, lang yan 1 year or 12 months. Parang buhay din ng tao, di ba? I-relate natin sa buhay natin. We have indefinite life. Okay, like I mentioned earlier, we don't know. We know that our life will end, but we don't know when it will end. But then, every year, we celebrate our birthday, di ba? Di ba? Every year yan. So, ganun din sa accounting, every year, there should be a report. There should be a financial report. Kasi nga, hinahati natin yung economic life ng business into artificial time periods, wherein the longest is 1 year. So, ibig sabihin, every year, kailangan magkaroon ng financial report ang business. The next one is the unit of measurement assumption. So, this specifies that accounting should measure and report the results of businesses. Economic activities in terms of monetary units such as the Philippine peso. So, because we're here in the Philippines, so we are using Philippine peso. What if the transaction is in American dollar? So, paano yun? For example, there is an equipment that is purchased abroad from America. And it is paid, syempre, in a monetary unit which is dollar. Anong gagawin natin? So, because tayo ay Philippine business, we're going to convert the dollar into Philippine peso. Kasi nga, ang reports natin dapat ay hindi iba't ibang denomination. Meron tayong susunding isang denomination which is the Philippine peso. Kung ikaw ay nasa Japan, o di yung monetary, doon, unit ang gagamitin doon. Okay? Excuse me. Okay, the next one is the matching principle. So, ano ba ang matching principle? Ito yung example dito. Sabi dyan, we should recognize the expense, okay, incurred in order to generate revenue. So, kaya nga matching, yung expense, ima-match mo sa revenue. Okay, they should be properly matched against each other. For example, match expense with revenues in the period when a company makes efforts to generate those revenues. For example, ito. So, di ba may revenue? May expense din. Ang revenue niya, na-deliver niya na yung product, di ba? So, binayaran siya. So, may revenue siya doon. Pero bago niya ma-deliver yung product, muna? Meron siyang expenses. Katulad ng advertising, di ba? Kailangan niyang i-advertise para malaman nung market na meron siyang binibentang ganong klaseng product. We have the delivery expenses. We have the utilities. So, ibig sabihin, minamatch mo kung magkano yung nagastos mo lahat-lahat, magkano yung expenses mo in order to generate that revenue. Ayan. The next one is the accrual basis. Ang ibig sabihin naman ng accrual basis, dito nire-recognize ang revenue and income regardless of the collection ng pera at yung payment ng pera. Okay? So, ito you have to break the mentality na may expense ang business kapag gumastos at may income ang business kapag nakatanggap ng pera. Kasi sa accounting ay hindi ganun. Sa accounting, pwede ka nang magkaroon ng income kahit wala ka pang nako-collect ng pera at pwede ka na rin magkaroon ng expense kahit na hindi mo pa nababayaran. May expense ka na. So, we have here the difference between cash accounting and accrual basis of accounting. So, ang mentality kasi ng mga tao na hindi pa nag-aaral ng accounting ay ito, cash basis accounting. Okay? Pero, sa accounting, ang sinusunod talaga natin ay accrual basis. Ano ang example nito? When it comes to revenue, sa cash basis, ang revenue daw is recorded kapag na-receive na yung cash. Pero sa accrual, kailan natin i-record ang revenue kapag na-earn na. Anong ibig sabihin nito? Ang example nito na pwede nating illustration ay, kunwari si John, siya ay nagtayo ng negosyo. For example, ang tinayo niyang negosyo ay barber shop. Ayan. So, isang araw may nagpagupit sa kanya yung kaibigan niya. So, ginupitan niya, sinerbisan niya, ginupitan, inahitan, at kung ano-ano pa. Ngayon, nung maniningil na siya, sabi nung kanyang kliyente, ay, naiwan ko yung wallet ko, wala akong pangbayad sa'yo. Ayan. So, may revenue na ba dun si John? May revenue na ba siya o wala pa? Kasi hindi siya nabayaran ng kliyente niya dahil naiwan yung wallet sa bahay. Wala siya natanggap na cash. So, sa cash basis, wala pa siyang revenue kasi wala pang cash. Pero sa accounting, dahil accrual basis ang ginagamit natin, na-earn na niya yung revenue. So, may revenue na siya. Paano niya na-earn? Dahil nag-render na siya ng service. Yun yung basihan dun. Pag nag-render na ng service, may revenue ka na. Okay? Ano pang example nito? Example, catering services ka. So, may nagpa-reserve sa'yo. So, sabi, sige, re-reserve na kami para wag ka nang tumanggap ng ibang kliyente. So, nag-estimate sila, the rough estimate, for example, is 300,000. Ang ginawa ng kliyente, nagbigay na ng 50,000 as down payment or reservation fee. Ang tanong, meron ka na bang revenue doon? Meron na ba? Kasi may natanggap ka ng 50,000 eh. Pag cash basis, may revenue ka na. Kasi may natanggap ka ng 50,000. Pero sa accounting, accrual basis tayo. Sa accounting, wala ka pang revenue kahit nakatanggap ka na ng 50,000. Bakit? Hindi ka pa naman nagre-render ng service. Hindi ka pa nagke-cater. Magkakaroon ka lang ng revenue pag tapos ka ng mag-cater. Pag na-earn mo na yung revenue. Okay? So, sana malinaw tayo dun ha. So, if you have question, pwede naman during our online sessions. Ipunin nyo yung mga tanong ninyo. Okay, kasunod, expenses. When it comes to cash basis, expenses daw are recorded when cash is paid. Pero, pag accrual basis, expenses are recorded when incurred. Ito paid, this one ay incurred. Okay? So, ano ang difference itong dalawa na to? Ito ang difference niyan. For example, you receive an electric bill. Okay, di ba ang electric bill, pag nare-receive natin, we still have 1 week grace period bago natin bayaran kasi after a week pa yung due date. Okay? So, ngayon, ang question, nung pagka-receive mo ba ng electric bill, may expense ka na? Okay, ha? Yung day na natanggap mo, yung electric bill, may expense ka na ba dun? Pag cash basis, wala ka pang expense. Kasi nga, di ba, nire-recognize niya ang expense kapag nagbayad ka na ng cash. Pero hindi nga cash basis ang ginagamit natin. Anong ginagamit natin? Accrual basis. So, meron ka na bang expense at the time na na-receive mo ang bill? The answer is yes. Bakit? Kasi yung bill na binigay sa'yo, it represents the amount of electricity na na-consume mo, okay, from that period or within that period. So, ibig sabihin, na-incur mo na yun. When we say kasi incur, ibig sabihin na consume mo na siya, nagamit mo na siya. Okay? So, sa accrual basis, kahit hindi ka pa nagbabayad, but if you've already incurred the expense, may expense ka na. Okay? Yan. Next. Accrual method. It is not allowed under GAAP. Ayan. Hindi siya gina-allow sa GAAP. Generally used by larger businesses. Tama yan. Kasi usually kapag small businesses, ang alam talaga nila ay cash basis. Pero pag larger businesses, mas formalized na yung accounting nila. Meron na silang proper accounting. Kaya ang ginagamit dyan ay accrual basis. So keep in mind that accrual basis is preferred way to do accounting. And it's required by GAAP. Kaya, sa accounting, ang gagamitin natin ay hindi ito, not the cash basis. Okay? Ang gagamitin natin sa accounting ay ang accrual basis. Malinaw tayo dyan, ha? So, recap lang. Sa accrual basis, ang revenue ay nire-record when it is earned. An expense ay nire-record when it is incurred. Okay? So, now we are in the basic financial statements. So, ito yung mga financial statements na dapat ninyong makilala, matandaan, at the end of accounting, sana ay matutunan ninyong gawin. Okay? The first one is the statement of profit and loss. Dito pinapakita ang summary ng revenue and expense. And it is also called income statement. So, mas kilala siya as income statement. Pero ang tawag na talaga sa kanya ngayon ay statement of profit and loss. Second one is the statement of financial position. So, sa statement of financial position, dito natin makikita ang asset, liability, and owner's equity. It is also known as balance sheet. Mas kilala siya as balance sheet, pero we should call it statement of financial position. The third one is the statement of changes in equity. Sa statement of changes in equity, dito ipapakita lahat ng changes na nangyari sa capital. Pag sinabi kasi nating owner's equity, it pertains to the capital. Okay, and then the fourth one is the statement of cash flow. From the term or the name itself, cash flow. So, ibig sabihin, lahat ng transactions na kasama dito ay yung involved ang cash. Yan. Whether it be receipts or payments. So, lahat ng natanggap na pera at lahat ng ibinayad na pera or lumabas na pera from the entity, dapat makita sa report na ito. And then the fifth one is the notes to financial statement. Actually, itong apat na financial statements na ito, ilang pages lang to. Pero, ang nagpapakapal ng financial statements ay itong notes. Bakit? Because dito sa notes, dito, pinapakita or dinidiscuss lahat ng mga bagay na hindi mo makikita dun sa face ng financial statement. Kasi gaya nga ng sabi ko, ang financial statements ay quantitative in nature. So, ibig sabihin, puro amounts lang yon. You will not be able to understand the story behind those amounts. Ngayon, kung gusto mo pang mas maintindihan yung financial statements, you should read the notes to financial statements. Kasi, dun pinapakita paano na-compute yung ganitong amount, ano ang pinagbasihan, ano ang accounting principle na ginamit, and also nilalagay din dun yung mga pangyayari or information that is not stated or cannot be stated in the face of the financial statements. So, napakahalaga rin nitong ikalima na to. So, what are the qualitative characteristics of financial statement? So, we have the following. The first one is the fundamental qualitative characteristics of financial statement. So, these are the fundamental. The first one is relevance. Ano bang ibig sabihin ng relevance? When we say relevance, ibig sabihin, it could influence. Ito yung key term dyan. It could influence a decision. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, kapag ka nabasa yung financial information that is being provided by accounting, okay, and it will influence the decision ng users, then it is relevant or it has the characteristic of being of relevance. So, when we say relevance, dapat meron siyang ganito. Meron siyang predictions about the outcomes of the past, present, and future events. And also, we can confirm and correct prior expectations. Okay, the next one is the fair representation. When we say fair representation, faithful representation. So, in order to be relevant, in order to be useful, dapat yung financial information ay faithfully represented. Anong ibig sabihin natin sa faithful representation? Una, meron siyang tinatawag na completeness. Ibig sabihin, yung information that is included in the reports should be complete. Okay? Wala ka dapat inalis. Wala kang itinago. Wala kang tinanggal. Dapat lahat ng information that should be included in the financial statements are present. And then the other one is neutrality. When we say neutrality, it is free from bias and is not slanted. Okay? So, dapat wala kang kinikilingan. Kumbaga sa balita, dapat kung ano talaga yung balita, yun lang yung sasabihin mo. Huwag ka nang magdagdag pa para maging pabor dun sa isang side. Ganon din yung information na dapat ibigay ng accounting. It should be free from bias and it should not be slanted. So, kahit na sabihin ng boss na baguhin mo o dapat hindi ganun. So, dapat, as a good accountant, huwag mong susundin yun. Dapat kung ano lang yung totoo, yun ang ilalagay mo. It should not be slanted, it should not be weighted, it should not be emphasized, it should not be de-emphasized, and otherwise, manipulated. Yan ang iniiwasan natin. Kasi nga, kapag ang information that is provided by the accounting ay manipulated, hindi magiging tama ang decision na gagawin ng user, yung babasa ng financial statement. And the next one, it should be free from error. Ayan, no errors or omission in the description of the phenomenon, and the process used to produce the reported information has been selected and applied with no errors in the process. So, dapat walang material error. So, hindi naman natin pwedeng sabihin na it should be 100% perfect because that is not the reality in real world. So, meron talagang mga pangyayari wherein hindi talaga 100% accurate ang financial information na mabibigay. But, it should be materially complete. Ibig sabihin, yung mga bagay na makaka-influence doon sa decision ng user should be correct. It should not be it should be free from error. So, after the fundamental qualitative characteristics of financial statement, dito naman tayo sa enhancing qualitative characteristics. So, under enhancing, we have the comparability. When we say comparability, ibig sabihin, the financial information or the financial statements can be compared. Okay, can be compared with similar information about other entities and similar information about the same entity for another period or another date. Okay, so ibig sabihin, yung financial statement ng business na ito, pag nasa same industry sila, pwede mo siyang i-compare sa financial statement ng isang entity. But syempre, they should be in a similar or the same industry. Or, pwedeng isang entity lang, pero yung financial information or financial statement niya for this year can be compared to the past year. That is the principle of comparability. Okay? The second one is verifiability. It means that the different knowledgeable and independent observers could reach consensus, although not necessarily complete agreement, but a particular depiction is a faithful representation. Ibig sabihin, the information that is stated in the financial statement is verifiable. When we say verifiable, merong mga independent observers or independent parties that can verify the faithful representation of that item. And then, the next one is timeliness. When we say timeliness, dapat on time. Para makatulong siya sa decisions na gagawin ng users. And then, understandability, ibig sabihin it should be understood by those that has the basic knowledge or reasonable knowledge of the business and economic entities and those who will review and analyze the information. The financial statement should be understandable. Okay? Ang ibig sabihin, it should use or it should present in a form and express in terminologies that user understands. So, dapat yung mga terminologies na ginagamit sa accounting, hindi na siya masyado pang malalim na kailangan pang i-google o kaya hanapin sa dictionary bago maintindihan. Okay? But then also, the assumption is that those that will read or will use the information has a reasonable knowledge of the business or reasonable knowledge of the language. Okay? So, hindi naman to the extent na dapat ay Tagalogin na para lang maintindihan ng babasa. Kasi ang assumption dyan, yung babasa ay meron din namang sapat na kaalaman regarding the accounting and then the business activities. Yan. So, next, we will proceed with the users of financial information. The first one, management. Obviously, bakit kailangan ng management? Diba? For the planning and controlling ng operation of the business. The next one, creditors and suppliers. Bakit? In order to evaluate the borrower's ability to pay. Yan na nga yung na-example ko kanina, diba? Yung sa bangko. So, kailangan niya ng creditors and suppliers para ma-make sure nila na mababayaran nga sila nung creditor, nung debtor. Okay, owners of the firm. So, they need to know if the business is operating at a profit or at a loss. Also, investor, halos pareho din yan. They should know if yung investment ba nila ay magiging profitable, if it is safe, pag sila ay nag-invest doon sa business. Okay, the next one, government and their agencies. Bakit kailangan? Kasi nga, di ba, government collect tax. So, saan niya pagbabasihan ang tax na kokolektahin niya? From the information that is provided by the financial statement. The other one, customers. Bakit kailangan ng customer yung financial information? Kasi nga, di ba, hindi naman lahat ng customer ay customer lang. May mga customer na may customer din. Ano ibig sabihin nun? For example, ako ay isang negosyante, meron akong supplier, di ba? Dahil negosyante ako, meron din akong customer. So, ano ang pwedeng mangyari? Kapag kayong supplier ko ay nag-stop na ng operation, anong mangyayari sa akin? Wala na akong kukuhaan ng aking raw materials. At kung wala na akong raw materials, wala na rin akong magagawang produkto na pwede kong ibigay sa customer ko. So that's why the financial statements, they are basis din also for evaluating the possibility of price changes. Okay, and then other sources of cheaper services and commodities. Kasi 'di ba, pwede ring basihan 'yan kung magbabago ba yung presyo, kung mas mura ba dito, kung mas mahal ba. Ayan. So yun din yung isang reason kung bakit kailangan ng customer ang financial information. The next one ay employees. Bakit interesado ang employees? Siyempre, pag ikaw ay nagtatrabaho sa isang kumpanya, dapat alamin mo if the company is being profitable. Kasi kung hindi, baka mamaya pagpasok mo, wala ka na palang papasukan kasi nagsara na yung kumpanya na pinagtatrabahuhan mo. So, you should be aware of the status of the company. Para pagka kunwari, medyo nararamdaman mo na it is not profitable na pwede na mag-terminate ang business, pwede ka nang maghanap-hanap ng pwede mong malilipatan na trabaho. Yan. And the next one is the public. So, financial statements may assist the public by providing information about the trends and recent developments in the prosperity, the enterprise, and the range of its activities. So, the public is also concerned with the financial position or status of the business. Kasi nga, di ba, the public is the one who benefits with the services and the products that those entities provide. And also, it can help with the economy and then the economic status and then the labor issues, 'di ba? Yung mga business na yun nakakaapekto sila. So that's why the public also need the financial information. Okay, now we will proceed with the elements of financial statement. So, tatandaan nyo itong 5 na ito kasi dito lang iikot ang mga transaction sa accounting. Okay? The first one is the assets. The second one, liabilities. The third one is capital or owner's equity. The fourth one is revenue or income. And then the last one are the expenses. So, ano ba ang assets? When we say assets, these are, resources controlled by enterprise. Dapat yung assets sa enterprise, dun sa business, dun sa entity. Hindi yung nakikigamit lang sila. Pag nakikigamit lang sila, nagre-renta lang sila, hindi nila asset yun. Okay? It results from past transactions with, future economic benefits. Yan. Ano naman ang liabilities? These are present obligation. When we say obligation, pananagutan or utang ng isang enterprise that arise from the past transactions. And then when meron tayong tinatawag na settlement, ibig sabihin babayaran or isa-settle yung obligation na mai-expect naman tayo na outflow from the enterprise. Kasi nga, di ba, pag nagbayad ka, kunwari ng utang, ano ipang babayad mo? Kadalasan ay cash. So, pag lumabas yung cash, may outflow from the enterprise. Okay. The next one is the capital or owner's equity. So, ito yung nire-represent dito, yung claim ng mga owner sa assets ng business. Ibig sabihin, ito yung pag-aari ng mga owner dun sa business. Yan. It pertains to owner's claim. Ayan o, claim. Okay. Next, revenue or income. When we say revenue or income, it is a gross inflow of economic benefit. So, ibig sabihin, ito yung ito yung nag-result dun sa ginawang services or sa mga binentang produkto. Revenue yung tawag natin. Because kapag ka na-render na yung service, yun nga, may revenue na tayo. Pag nabenta yung produkto, may revenue na tayo. And then the last one are expenses. So these are gross outflow naman. So napansin niyo pag revenue, nakalagay dito inflow of economic benefit. Pag expense, outflow of economic benefit. Kasi nga pagka revenue, may inflow ka dahil babayaran ka ng cash, 'di ba? The customer will pay cash. Pag naman expense, outflow kasi ikaw naman ang magbabayad ng cash. Palabas yung economic benefit. So, these are the examples of assets. Ang dami yan, no? Isa-isahin natin, cash. Malinaw naman na siguro ang cash, di ba? These are coins, currencies, checks, money orders, and bank drafts. Accounts receivable, ito yung claims. Yan, claims. Ano ibig sabihin ng claims? Pautang. Kunwari, nag-render ka ng service, katulad ng example ko kanina, ginupitan na yung kaibigan, kaya lang hindi pa nagbayad. Kaya, si John, meron siyang accounts receivable. Ano naman ang notes receivable? Ganon din yan, pautang din yan. Yun nga lang, yung nangutang sa'yo, nagbigay siya ng promissory note. Yan. The next one is the merchandise inventory. Ito naman yung mga goods on hand that are available for sale. So, dapat, itong mga goods na ito, mayroon kang intention na ibenta sila para masabi na sila ay merchandise inventory. Example nito ay yung mga merchandise. For example, sa grocery, ayan, yung mga sabon, yung mga shampoo, ayan, mga merchandise nila. Office supplies and store supplies, alam na natin yan. So, ito yung mga bond paper, ink, or toner, mga ballpen, okay, calculator, stapler, yan yung mga yun. Pag store supplies naman, kunwari sa grocery, ito yung mga paper bags, ayan, kung nagbibigay sila ng eco bag, pwede rin yun. Yan. Ang pinagkaiba lang yan ay kung saan ginagamit. Pag sa office ginagamit, office supplies. Pag nasa store, store supplies. Okay? Prepaid expenses. Ang prepaid expenses, ito yung nabayaran mo na pero hindi mo pa nagagamit. Example nito sa renta. Pagka kunwari, di ba, magre-renta ka, ano bang hinihingi ng may-ari? Nahingi ng advance, di ba? Minsan, may deposit na, may advance, ano pa. So, ang tawag doon, prepaid expense. Kasi nagbayad ka na, pero hindi mo pa na gagamit. Parang prepaid load. Nagbayad ka na muna, bumili ka na muna ng load, pagkabili mo, saka mo pa lang siya pwedeng gamitin. Okay, next, office and store equipment. Pag sinabi nating equipment, ito yung mga devices or machines that are being run by electricity. Example nga nito, air condition, electric fan, freezer, refrigerator. So, yung display cabinet na sinasabi natin dito, ito yung mga cabinets na, di ba meron bagang mga, kunwari yung sa Goldilocks, di ba? Yung mga display nila ng cake. Mapapansin niyo, di ba? So, display cabinet yun, pero may kuryente yun. Kasi, di ba, dapat hindi, may ilaw, tapos hindi masyadong mainit. Di ba? Or, pwede rin naman, yung iba naman, dapat constant yung heat para ma-preserve yung product. So, yun. Ang tawag doon, equipment. Kino-consider silang equipment. Ngayon, paano mo malalaman kung office o store? Depende kung nasaan yung equipment. Kapag nasa office, office equipment. Pag nasa store, store equipment. The next one is the furniture and fixtures. Kasama naman dito ay ito, office table, chairs, filing cabinets. Yan yung mga furniture and fixtures. Intangible assets. These are assets that are intangible. When we say intangible, there is no physical substance. You cannot see it and you cannot touch it. That's why it is intangible. Ano example ng mga intangible asset? Ito yan. Una ay franchise. Alam naman natin ang franchise, di ba? So, ginagrant ito ng franchisor to a franchisee para gamitin yung kanilang produkto, yung kanilang pangalan, yung kanilang sistema. Yun yung franchise. The other one is copyright. Ito naman ay yung para sa mga author ng mga literary, music, and artistic work. Yan. So, kapag ginamit mo yung isang musical work, dapat humingi ka ng paalam dun sa may-ari noon because meron yung copyright. The other one is patent. Ito naman ay pertains to invention. Okay, so kunwari may mga invention ka or kaya secret formula or secret ingredients, ipapapatent mo yun para protected siya. And then trademarks. Ang trademarks naman, these are the words, names, symbols, and other devices used to indicate the source of the product. For example, yung Jollibee, ano ba ang trademark nila? Ano ba yung symbol nila? Di ba si Jollibee, yung bubuyog? O, ano ba yung kanilang mga words? O, yung mismong pangalan, mismong name ng Jollibee. Yan. So, yun yung mga trademarks. Next one is the computer software. It is also considered as intangible. Kasi nga, di ba, you cannot see or you cannot touch the software, pero ang binabayaran mo yan para magamit mo. And these are assets. Assets yung mga yan. Okay, the next one are liabilities. When we say liabilities, napansin niyo lahat may payable. Payable, payable, payable. Yan, payable. Kasi lahat ito ay ano, babayaran. Kailangan mong bayaran because liabilities are obligations. So, you have to pay for it. Kaya may mga payable siya sa huli. Maliban na lang ito, bakit yung revenue napasama dito? Kasi ito ay unearned revenue. Anong ibig sabihin ng unearned revenue? Ito yung nakatanggap ka na ng pera pero hindi mo pa nasa-service. Kagaya nung sinabi ko kanina, 'di ba? Yung sa catering, nakatanggap ka na ng 50,000 pero hindi ka pa nagre-render ng service. So ang tawag mo doon unearned revenue. Hindi pa revenue 'yun. Under yun ang category ng liability. It is an obligation. Kasi nga 'di ba, dahil binayaran ka na in advance, you have the obligation to provide the services or to provide the product na binayaran. Kaya, iyon ay liability. Anong liability mo pag tayo sa service business? Ang liability mo ay hindi yung pera. Ang liability mo ay yung service na kailangan mong ibigay in return of the money. Okay? So, sana malinaw itong unearned revenue, ha? Next is the capital or owner's equity. Under capital, syempre, we have the owner's capital. So, dito nilalagay kapag ka nagkaroon ng original investment and additional investment yung owner ng entity. Pag naman owner's drawing or withdrawal, ito naman yung pera na kinuha ng owner for for personal use. For example, nagbayad siya ng tuition fee ng anak niya, saan niya kinuha yung pangbayad? Dun sa pera ng negosyo. So, pwede yun i-considered as owner's withdrawal or drawing. Okay, and then the next one is the income summary account. So, this is a temporary account used at the end of the accounting period to close income and expenses. So, may encounter nyo yan pag patapos na tayo ng accounting. Revenue, income, or income. So, service revenue, ito yung revenue na natatanggap in performing services for a customer or a client. Ang mga example nito yan, sales, fees earned, rent income. Pero itong sales, hindi pa natin to gagamitin ha, kasi sa merchandising to. Ang gagamitin lang natin dito kadalasan ay itong mga to, service revenue, subscription revenue, interest income, professional fees, commissions earned, rent income. Depende yan kung anong klaseng negosyo meron yung entity. Okay? And then, the last one ay expenses. So, dito, kasama yung sa salaries and wages, yan yung mga pasweldo sa mga empleyado. Utilities expense, yan yung electricity, fuel, and water, supplies expense, insurance expense, depreciation expense, and interest expense. So, madali lang siyang ma-identify. Basta meron siyang expense. Kadalasan may expense yan sa huli. So, those are expenses. Ayan. So, we are now done with the lecture. So, ito yung mga video links na pwede ninyong i-click at tingnan para mas maintindihan niyo. If there is something that you don't understand from my lecture, pwede nyo rin yung itanong sa akin during our online session. Okay, and then these are your assignments. So, yun na, general instruction ko. Dapat ang assignment ipapasa sa Google Classroom. Don't forget to click the turn in. Ngayon daw, meron na hand in. Okay, pero sa iba, turn in button pa rin ang ginagamit. Okay? And then are the exercises. So, ito yung references ng lecture ko. Ang ginamit natin ay yung Principles of Accounting. Ito yung mga authors niyan. I also use Basic Accounting Made Easy by Baliada, and also the Google Images and the YouTube channel Accounting Stuff. So, this lecture will also be uploaded to my YouTube channel at ibibigay ko sa inyo ang link later on. So, if there are any questions regarding my lecture, you may ask me during our online sessions. So, that's all. This is the end of my presentation. Good luck with the assignments and always keep safe.